welcome back to ESL 1 Frankfurt, live from the Commerzbank Arena in Frankfurt for our 2014 Summer Challenge of Dota 2. Game 1 is already in the history books, the Chinese taking that 1-0, but it is a best of 3, so they still have a chance, mousesports, to come back into it. Gents, just very quickly before we get into picks and bans, Game 2, mentality, mousesports, what are they going to be thinking about right now?
Doesn't matter, every game is a new thing. You have to be like nothing happened, you have to win 2 games to advance, otherwise you're going home, so just as if it was game 1.
Ben?
I think game 1 they stuck to their guns, they slightly outdrafted IG. I think they had to draft more greedy game 2.
Okay. Anything to add?
It's not going to happen, but I really feel like a Nature's Prophet would benefit mousesports a lot here.
Okay.
They seem to sort of struggle with the with defending while also ganking, and Nature's Prophet could really benefit both playstyles.
Any thoughts, Seb, from game 1 into game 2? What would you be doing right now if you were drafting?
I agree with Bruno. Just stick to what you usually do. Maybe think it a bit more. You know, like what's going to happen after you get this early advantage, and just stay calm, play as if it was game 1. Really.
Okay. Any overall feeling that you had in this first game where you thought actually this is really good from Mouse? Did you get that? I mean, Ben said it perfectly. Decision-making wise, IG were flawless almost, bar one small thing. What was the difference for Mouse? Because they didn't seem to have that.
Okay, so here's the thing about Dota. Your decision-making can be amazing, but if you can't make decisions and you're forced into decisions, then it doesn't matter. So what Mouse needs to do is to put the pressure on them. They tried to do this game, but didn't really go well. If they get more like bigger teamfight heroes, get a Tide Hunter there, or even get a Wisp so that you force them to fight under your own terms, then IG will not be able to make any decisions, and it will be Mouse game to lose.
Okay, Seb, you made a point in the first match that you didn't really like their decision-making mousesports early on. It was nice, it was a good fight, they were 3-1 up, but then you were like, no, actually, they need to take towers now, they need to focus on the tower, and they just weren't.
I mean, they had an answer, and they have one point, is that individually, they're as skilled, maybe even sometimes better. Like, when you see Pycat getting 2 kills, 1 versus 3, that means that, you know, he's not here for nothing, and they can outplay IG really hard. If I mean, the same as IG can outplay them, but it's just about decision-making in the, let's say, late phase of the early game, if that exists. Okay. It's all about this, in my opinion.
Jacob, you said earlier on, this is just another day in the office. It's turning out that way so far.
It was exactly what we expected. mousesports taking the early lead, playing their really aggressive early game, and IG then turning it around for the mid game.
Okay, well, picks and bans, draft is underway. Bruno.
Wow, and we start with the Faceless Boy first pick. This is just something really interesting. And I want to ask something before we actually go straight into the pick and ban phase. While in the break, I asked on Twitter, who do you think, what hero do you think mousesports should pick to turn this around? And a guy called Fata replied, Sniper.
That's funny.
So we'll see if that happens or not. But for now, we see Invictus Gaming getting that Faceless Boy. And recently, we see that hero more in the off lane than in the carry position. What do you think made this change from 2 years ago to now?
He has escapability, and all you really need is the Chronosphere. I think a lot of people have realized that he needs too much farm to be your dependable late game carry. And with very little farm, he'll still be super useful to the team, the same way a Tidehunter or a Magnus would be. And that's why they pick it solely for that. And it goes really well with Death Prophet, Lich, Ancient Aberration. These heroes is something we see a lot in China right now with the Faceless Void opening into those heroes. So
and you can pretty much dump any offlaner in a Radiant offlane. People realize that. If Elder Titan can survive there, Faceless Void can. And he just provides a necessary setup, especially when you have hard-to-kill heroes like Mirana. And if you just win the team fight just by killing 1 or 2 heroes at the start of the fight, that's it.
Exactly.
There's one really important information on IG for all the teams, obviously mousesports and the others, if IG happen to go to the next round, is that they favor that Lycan pretty high. Like, they first pick it when they were dire, and they first ban it when mousesports is dire. So this dire Lycan is very important, and when a team really dominates their series, they usually influence the other team draft. So.
And with good reason, because Lycan is such a tempo-based hero.
Yes.
And you see other teams, they might not be so. For example, Navi. Navi is a great team. But they're not like timing based as a team. They just want to fight when they feel like they can fight, but not, 10 minutes from now we're going to do this. And IG being so systematic, they want these heroes and they can execute it. But I do love the Tide Hunter pick on mousesports right now, because that R button is a global reset when the team fight is going on. And when things are not going your way, you just press that, and you will always be able to do because of Kraken Shell, right?
And he's very hard to take down on the Chrono, so chances are that he'll survive it and then release the Kraken afterwards.
Yeah,
he might.
we do see the Pugna ban right now, and I think that's clever. But Ben, other hero that kind of behaves like Pugna is Death Prophet, in the sense that he just have to be close to the tower to push. Do you think IG might go for one Death Prophet right now?
I don't think so, just because they don't really play. I think it would be very, very good, especially with the no damage silence. Huge AoE.
Luo played it
They
two
do
times.
play it.
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
okay.
beat DK with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Death Prophet.
Yeah. I know.
The silence, the AoE silence is also a good way to deal with Tidehunter. You don't focus them. They don't have much AoE damage so far. They do have AoE control with the Void, but they can afford to just silence the Tidehunter and just kill the other targets. So could be a good way to deal with that hero.
It's a very old school strategy though. Chronosphere plus whatever ultimate you can dump into it.
Yep.
Epicenter, Chain Frost, Death Prophet ultimate.
Yeah.
Sanking is a hero I would love for IG to pick up. That would really, really go into their old school playstyle where they did Sanking roster. Those were the heroes they picked 2 years ago as their supports. And as you were saying, Epicenter is really, really good with Chronosphere.
I actually look to be really afraid of the Chain Protector though. It's been 2 games that they ban it in the second phase, so that's another information to have about that team.
Yeah, that's good, but at the same time, it's one of those heroes that you don't want to fight, and Razor is another one of those heroes so annoying to play against, just because he has to be there again. Think about Death Prophet and Razor, they have something in common. When you're in a Chronosphere, normally you can't do anything, but the static link can still be going, so the Razor can afford being really aggressive, and the Roy will be, just don't mind me, throw the Chronosphere, I will keep getting some damage.
And I have the Storm too.
Yeah, that's true. So it's one of these very reliable combos that doesn't look like one, but once you play against it, it really hurts.
And you also can't crack in the shell at all too, so he's very nice in the Tidehunter lane.
And if you noticed mousesports draft last game, they were actually afraid of the Razor. They banned it out as their 3rd ban, I believe. So right now, IG is still getting the heroes they want. It seems as if they have a style planned out for how to deal with mousesports. It may still just be IG's regular playstyle, but we saw last game with the Earthshaker, we haven't seen that pick much by them in the past. But it was a pick that was really, really good against how mousesports executes their strategies.
Yeah. And you 3 guys, you were pro players at some point in your careers, and Melk, you coached for a while as well. A little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Did you actually have a playbook when you went into tournaments like Big Lands or stuff like that, saying we should ban this, we should play that, or is it more a hard feeling?
For the longest time, it's always been, hard feeling and the power of the mind.
Yeah.
And a lot of other teams obviously have playbooks.
Yeah, like for example, we had a playbook, but when you go into a very high tournament with very high pressure, you don't want to waste too much time, just mixing things up. You just want to have a clear game plan and draft plan. So a playbook, not everything is not in detail, but can help you.
10 seconds.
You don't waste time.
We see the Frosty guys coming. We have the Ice Cream on one side and the Lich on the other. And Lich again plays really well with the Chronosphere, Ancient Apparition, more for the sniping type. What do you reckon mousesports is going for? Because I see these 4 heroes and I don't see any apparent synergy just like straight out of the way.
That's an all-in early game. Once again, like they're gonna have super strong lanes. I mean, AA with the Historic Spell is awesome. Bane plus bottom is really good, but I see all-in again.
It might be, but it could also be a Spectre.
It could. That's true.
It could be a Spectre. Do you like Spectre, Ben?
I do love Spectre. I also think mousesports needs something that can transition into towers, so they can actually get something after they get their early kills. But Spectre or heavy late game or early push, either one would work well.
And this is my favorite part of the pick and banning stage. Actually, my second favorite is the first 2 picks and first 2 bans, which most people give for granted, but I think they give a lot of information. But the 5th ban is all about what you expect the other hero, the other team to pick. So if you look at EIG right now, they're like, oh, okay, we're banning the Dragon Knight, right? They're expecting this kind of like fighting hero that can push, that can be annoying in the team, can be tanky and just annoying. What do you think?
Like right now, in my opinion, mousesports has the same pick style as that game. They have this tri-lane that's very, very strong, the bottom, Bane plus AA, so they can destroy a lane of their choice. And IG is going for the same as well. They're gonna play, and that's the Prophet you were calling, so nice one.
Yeah.
It's a full art combo. Every hero in the IG lineup synergizes well with the Chronosphere.
Yep, that's for sure. I'm just afraid. I just wish mousesports focus on the right lane this time, because last time IG just dodged that and went for the Shaker Pugna off lane, and the Pugna was the key pick for them. So in that case, they're gonna go Lich plus X on the off lane or on the safe lane, like dodging the tri-lane. So let's see if mousesports just adapts better.
So what does mousesports do as their last pick? They're not going to win team fights, not against that lineup. Maybe early on, but certainly not in the mid game. It's very hard to outlate game avoid.
Mid-Tidehunter Nature's Prophet off lane?
I mean,
Go for a
by
split
the
push?
looks of it, right now,
push?
this looks as if Fader is missing his hero. They could go to a hard carry, but it really seems as if Fader doesn't have a hero, because I don't think they play a lot of pieces of the Moon solo mid.
No, but you could put the TIE Hunter mid.
Yeah, you definitely could, but
There's the
you're
Viper.
not gonna. There's the Viper. That's
There's the
Fader's hero.
Viper. Yep, yep. And he's going to be a Mech Viper.
Okay, thanks very much, gents. Picks and bans are done, and we are now ready for game number 2 of the quarterfinal, IG versus mousesports. Let's go back to the commentary team of Synderen and Toby One.
Thank you very much, and we are back here again. mousesports versus Invictus Gaming, game number 2 here of our quarterfinal series. And that's all we're doing today, Cinder, in all the quarterfinals. I say all. It's 4 best of 3s we're getting through today. mousesports versus Invictus Gaming. I know we're having a bit of a chat about the lanes and everything else beforehand. I do also have to say, Cinder called the Krob straight away.
I thought they were going to get it on the 4th pick, actually, but I have to be bluntly honest with this. I think IG got their best draft in the whole game right now. I think they got all the heroes that they've been really comfortable with. As I said, I cast a couple of series with them very recently where they won against DK, as well as, I don't remember what the other team was, Newbie, I think, yeah, it was Newbie. And they love running this mid-game strategy where they have the Shadow Shaman on support. I think this might be a record, by the way, a 15-0 stat with a hero. I don't think that's happened before. It's unbelievable that they have that win ratio with the Shadow Shaman. And then they run it together with the Void, that is currently a first pick in China, and they get this heavy mid-game push with Death Prophet, with Shadow Shaman wards, Razor as a tanky frontliner, Frost Armor up everyone with Lich, and they get good control of the lanes early on because of the Lich, and then they are just stronger in mid-game. Mouse have a draft here where I think their most important pick in this game was AA. Ice Blasts are their chance at taking these teamfights when IG Deathball, and they will do it. There's no doubt about it. IG will be coming for your towers with 5 heroes at some point, so the Ice Blasts are what can keep Mouse in the game together with, of course, some really good Ravages.
Ooh, man, Luo's timing for this movement. With mousesports looking for some kind of like aggro, and they know it too. Again, this is something which I'm not as sure about from mousesports. Like you look at their lineup, you say, okay, AA is definitely a great thing to have in this lineup, but it's just still very obvious what mousesports want to do. You run a Bane, Mirana, Ancient Apparition. It's obvious you want to go aggro try, and they managed to get an opening right now. Luo, he was just moving back, chilling touch. Arrow's going to come in, and they just look at the damage coming out with a bonus. 1-0 again. Here in this best of 3 series.
Award right there. Big value here from mousesports. Very nicely done getting that snipe first blood. They're going to be warding another one here. I think
this
IG
did
might
happen
have
last
actually
game, though.
seen that.
This did happen last game. mousesports got not only just 1 first blood, they got 2 first bloods. They have to carry their momentum this time around. That's something which failed in game 1.
One of them was second blood, Toby.
It was the second blood. Man, it was the 2 bloods split 2 different ways, man. If Centaur was there, he would say, with a double edge, there was blood on both blades.
All right, it looks like IG are actually changing up their plans here, so let's really
They're
quickly
coming down
run
again.
over the-
They're going to go
not again.
YYF. This time, though, it's over on Faith. The arrow line's going to connect on YYF. The Chilling Touch bonus damage is here in Faceless Void. No backtrack. He's gone for the walk, but he's not far enough away. Faith backing it up into the tree line. Misery, you can't dive in that deeper any further. They have to back up, and hey, would you believe it? 2 on the board.
Yeah, it's a great opening here for Mouse, and I think this tri-lane, the surprising thing for me about this from IG is that, yeah, there comes the counter ward from Faith. They knew this because of the setup. There's no other way they could have known that. So they do get counter warded now, but Mouse got 2 very important kills off it, and I love the fact that they're not staying down here the same way. They're going to be trying for more rotation here. We're actually going to see Misery rotate in, but IG know this because they have a good defensive ward around the mid lane here that saw Misery move in. So Ferrari's going to be playing this safely and basically just waste Misery's time until he realizes, okay, this is not going to happen. And now, let's really quickly, if we get a chance at it, look at the lanes IG actually managed to set. So they put Razor together with Shadow Shaman, played by Luo and Chuan, respectively. Mid lane is going to be Ferrari on the Death Prophet, and bot lane is going to be YYF on Void, together with Faith on the Lich.
So we're at least...
mid lane.
They're gone again. Well, the Nightmare is there.
I've seen
Ferrari,
this
time,
before.
though, there's nothing like an arrow to follow up, but they got a lot of damage, a lot of slow, and Misery, also smart then, walked into the tree line to make sure there was no escape. There was no route to get himself out of that trouble.
What an absolute beast early game from Bane. This is the best way you can open the game with Bane. He's made 3 kills in 2 minutes with those Nightmare setups. This time they didn't even need the arrow, and Pycat was in bottom. Very, very nice rotations here coming out from the mousesports team. And
You actually
getting
notice
off to a
how
good
far
start
they've
in 2 lanes.
rotated though. Like they've actually moved the Tidehunter down to the bottom lane to go up against YYF, and the Mirana still hasn't shown herself on the top lane. Neither has Pass. Like Pass moved through, is looking for the first hit, and like it's looking for a gank in middle lane, and then there was nothing left. Like maybe a stack, maybe a pull, something on top lane, but they haven't showed themselves at all. But we are 2 minutes into the game, and mousesports are 3-0 up, with a lineup which has a large amount of control and a large amount of potential to keep moving through with high momentum into the mid game.
And they have to keep this momentum going because it's actually really interesting to look at the graphs now. I generally don't do that very early on in the game, look at the graphs, but if you check them out now, it's only 2 minutes in. Mouse has 3 kills and they're behind on experience. Would you believe it? They're actually behind on XP. Gold is about 500, and this is 2 things. Lich factor, he of course gets an advantage from denying the creeps in terms of experience, and secondly, look at the farm. If you check the last hits out. Sure, mousesports are winning the mid lane with Viper, but the other lanes, they've really sacrificed a lot of farm to get these ganks, which are great. But now they have like this catch-up phase where if they don't start farming their heroes, again, we're going to reach the case where in the mid game, IG just takes off. So Mouse, either keep your pressure on or get your farm on.
Yeah, well, they're trying to do at least one of those, but it's not the full pressure they had before. Like, you're running around with the Bane trying to look for some nightmares. You need to have the Chilling Touch. Like, the Chilling Touch is the major part that makes these ganks work.
Yes.
Because it's the bonus damage you have. To get the damage in there quickly and then get yourself back out again before Invictus Gaming can respond. And they will respond quickly. Funny thing is, though, from Invictus Gaming, they actually just brought 4 heroes down to the bottom lane. YYF a bit of a wander around. So after we were talking like, okay, CS looking really, really great for Invictus Gaming, they abandoned the top lane just like mousesports did 2 minutes into the game. And now they're only just dragging someone back up here.
Oh, guess what?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a surprise, man.
I already, last time I said I've seen this before. Now I've seen it twice before. Actually,
It's a straight cut. That's all he needs to do. It's a very quick movement. The problem is, though, there's no ward searching for it, but he cuts through the tree, and now they're searching for the opening. Now, Nightmare on the YYF. There's no Redding creepway, but the Nightmare was taken off by Faith. They'll just end up killing off the Lich. The Starfall will come down, but the TP support coming in from IG. Faith dies in the tree line. Pass, he's getting himself in there, but YYF so low on life, leaves himself down, but he's already dead. Luo joins the fight. Pycat leaves in the tree line too. He will go down. Luo should be up a double kill here. Pass TP, not fast enough. It's a 2-for-2 trade. And that really is going to pump a lot of money into Luo, but this is the thing that mousesports has to. They have to take risks. They have to force the rotations at least off the lane.
I love how aggressively they played that. Was that? I think that was actually a 3-for-2 for Mouse, right? Yeah, it was. They got 3 kills up there. The Shadow Shaman TP'd in and also died, so overall still a great victory for them. It's not only about the kills, it's about forcing the movement from IG. They used TP scrolls, which are of course 135 gold apiece, and they still won the fight, which is something you rarely see a team that's diving 3 heroes under a tier 1 against 2, and 2 TPs coming in. The team with 3 actually coming out on top, so this was very well executed by mousesports and very important at getting them back in the driver's seat.
The perfect timing. Will break the smoke, throws down the vortex, but Chuan gets visible here for a moment. But he's not slowed down enough that you could have seen a rotation coming out from Fader. But he would have been able to do something there in the lane. Actually, what have we got coming in for Fader? So he's actually going to build into what I assume to be a later mech, but getting a very early, just a basic ring of regeneration. Lets him stand up against the crop and her range harassment. But more importantly, his strength threads, we go into the mech as he always does with his support. Like, you can run him as DPS heroes in the middle lane, but Fader's the reason why Troll gets banned out too. They just bring so much utility abilities to the fight.
He loves building mech on pretty much every single mid hero that he plays in their official matches, which is really cool to see. I think it's a great item, and I think the mid role is perhaps the best one to pick it up in most cases. We've seen him doing it on Dragon Knight as well, as the first player, I think, or at least one of the first ones to do that in competitive Dota 2 regularly. He loves these kind of tanky heroes, and it fits his playstyle very well, being able to commit and at the same time either soak up so much damage that you win the teamfight overall, or just playing with that sense of confidence. It's also why he's incredible on Puck, because he has the face to get
TP's out
out
straight away. Lich has nothing that can stop it, and they don't have enough damage to kill him off, but they definitely know that aggressive Observer Ward. It's just the prep work for the Bane. That's the reason why that's going down. While MSS and YYF having some fun on the bottom lane. It's the Haystrom from MSS just trying to over-harass up against the Faceless Void. Especially before he hits level 6, you want to show him who's boss.
Yeah, MSS is actually playing without Gush, which is something we see more and more often from Tidehunters in the early game because you don't really necessarily have the mana pool. So he's going to be maxing Anchor Smash over Kraken Shell. He'll obviously get Ravage on level 6, but we might not see a point in Gush until level 8, which was pretty much unheard of some months ago, but now it's becoming more of the
ever since the change to the
way.
way Anchor works against like Ancients and such, it's just so powerful. It's just so powerful. We're actually even looking at any stacks at the moment. That's actually one thing which we haven't seen. I was actually talking about this with you before we started up this game, where it's kind of funny, like we haven't seen a hero like an Enigma. He hasn't featured at all. We're not seeing like Beastmaster coming up to give vision and stacking. Top lane, Luo, Arrow, Nightmare. Looks like we're going to get ourselves a kill up here. Luo, one last attack. They should give it to the Bane. I think he's trying to go to the buyer, help him Arcane Boot Fund.
I think Pycat just backed off there to make sure he didn't get caught if anyone TP'd in, because he thought his second Starstorm hit would actually hit the hero, but it hit the creep, so it was a 50-50, and it goes to Misery, which I think is actually even better. Even if they wanted it on Pycat, it's better that Misery gets it. So
he needs the Arcanes.
These Arcanes are really important. I think for me, Bane is one of the most important heroes in the game to get this item on. He has so mana-intensive spells, and they're so amazing, but if you don't have those Arcanes, you just can't really afford. You can't even cast Nightmare, Brain Sap, and Ultimate without Arcanes, I think, when you're level 6. That's how bad his mana pool is compared to the spell costs.
Yeah, but of course the spells are just brilliant. Like the fact you got pure damage coming out with the Brain Sap that gives you life points as well. So all the damage which is dealt just turns around. It's almost as bad as Sunder, but not that bad.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, well, Mouse looking good. Once again in the early game, 7-2. This time around, though, they're not losing towers yet, which I think is really important when you're playing against IG's lineup. But IG haven't hit their timing yet. They want to have Shadow Shaman be level 6 and Death Prophet preferably be level 11.
Ravage.
That's a Ravage.
It's committal for YYF with a leap into Starfall. The backtrack's just not there for him. Only a 10% chance for it. He doesn't get lucky on it. But Pycat, you can see him moving out then too. They only just hit level 6 on the Tidehunter, and they knew the only way they could hold him there was the Ravage, and it was perfectly coordinated.
Yeah, it's really good to see Mouse putting so much pressure early on, because like I said when the game started, to me this is like IG's favorite lineup. I think they got 5 heroes that they love to get every game if they could get away with it, pretty much. So the fact that Mouse is really sticking it to them already and putting some great pressure with especially the Bane and now that bottom Mirana kill as well is really, really good for them. AA ult is flying somewhere. It's actually going to go all the way down. Might see it. Oh, the arrow almost hitting Chuan here. And now the AA
even a leap into a Starfall.
Top lane, Misery.
Are they having a crack at him? He will actually go down the Lich attack. Able to grab at the last moment. They actually committed Chrono for that as well.
Yeah. If you're IG right now, you just want you use 2 ultimates for a kill if you have to. It's just necessary for them to buy time and especially get levels on their supports. So if Lich gets level 6 and you get the Chain Frost, it's really good. Shadow Shaman needs a bit more time as well. And IG, I think, have been in this position before. I think one of the games against DK, they were also behind in the early game, and then their strategy just took off. So really don't underestimate the fact that IG aren't behind by more than 500 experience is kind of incredible, even though they have Lich. It's 5 kills after all, but they're just getting so much out of the lanes. Although Gold, of course, favoring Mouse quite heavily, and Viper will have a very early mech, I think, too.
Oh, I like this from Misery. His time is going to be perfect. Nightmare, and the arrow will come in from Pycat. Full 5 seconds on the stun, and then also activates the DD rune. 100% kill. The Aeoli was also coming in to help him out.
And this is good for Mouse right here. This is, again, we talked about it in the previous game, the desk were also talking about it. You need to get collateral. They need to get the towers, and it looks like they've learned their lesson from game 1 and want to put some more pressures on towers this time around. That kind of gank is the kind of gank that can win you games. You kill the mid hero and you pressure the tier 1 tower. That's huge.
Speak of tower pressure though, yeah, the Mass Serpent was almost killing off this tier 1 tower.
And actually, Misery is on the hunt here. What a range! What?
Hey, what? Okay.
Look at that!
Lua's gonna die in the trees here. It's the way it works is at the point you actually cast it, you can still walk an extra step before the animation actually begins it, but you don't go out of range of it, which is the reason why that kind of stuff can happen. Pi gets a leap away from Ferrari here in mid, but also surprisingly not a single point up in the silence. Not even one. ulti will actually connect on Ferrari. This is actually really more problematic. I don't know what's going to wear off first. Actually, the Ice Blast will wear off first. Because if he actually gets that, the Exorcism doesn't heal Ferrari back up again. So another thing just to keep mindful of in later fights.
There's the first tower, and it goes to mousesports this time around. It will be denied, but the mid tower we generally say is the most important tower in the game because of how it allows you to move around the map, how it's really strategic for Roshan, especially for the Dire. But Mouse is still holding on to their mid tower. They're putting some pressure down bottom here now, and yeah, to finish off on that whole Bane thing, you're right. It's about when he casts it, and Luo is really fast. He had, I think, 1 or 2 points in unstable current and was using phase boots, so that's why it looked like, How the hell did he cast that from 1100 range?
His reach is far, man. His reach is far. The mech now fully done for Fader, and he's trying to defend himself up against both Luo as well as Chuan. Down here on the bottom lane, even aggressive Observer wards. Like, they're trying to keep massive tabs on mousesports. After that Arrow Ravage incident on bottom lane, they are definitely watching this very, very closely. While in middle lane, Ferrari, okay, he's used his first Exorcism, did some damage towards the mid tower, not too bad, but they didn't take a tower. Chuan,
Ravage.
you're not getting out of this one, Chuan. Anchor Smash as well as Fader, they got themselves another kill. This one goes to Tidehunter, the Shadow Shaman still kills off the tower, however. So mousesports are still down a tier 1 tower.
Ferrari taking big damage here. Pycat might go for this one. He's got a haste. He's running in.
Starfall, he's got to keep the damage going. YYF's going to stop him, however. AE is coming in, but Pycat not taking enough damage with the Lich ulti. The Nightmare from Misery. It protects him. It turns it off, though. AE will come back up again. Pycat so low, but not enough for a death. They turn back in. And mousesports actually go 2-0 in the fight. The Arrow searching for more. And what a brilliant play, Misery. The timing of the Nightmare, flawless.
That was really, really good right there from the entirety of Mouse. They also rotated very well. Fatsa came in with the mech to secure the fight, and yeah. This is a different mousesports than in Game 1. I don't want to say they're playing more aggressively than they did in Game 1, but they just feel like they've got way more confidence because of what they got out of the early game so far. And okay, the crowd's a little biased.
And they're getting behind their Germans. They are getting behind their Germans. Even though it was the Danishman that made the play. But Chuan, as well as YYF, they're up here in the top lane of Misery, the man of the hour. Will have to back himself up to his tier 1 tower. But you're seeing what mousesports are doing right. They push 3 players down to the bottom lane, and they just force into this tier 1 tower. They're looking for the money. They're looking for the Blink Dagger to come up on the Tidehunter. They're looking for the ultimate control. That's what they're searching for at the moment. Well, Invictus Gaming now looking back up towards that tier 1 tower in the top lane. They're not going to stop until this tower is gone.
This is becoming a really sizable lead for mousesports. This is looking very, very good for game number 2. 5,000 golden experience right now, or actually even more experience. And that's what they didn't accomplish in the first game. But this time around, they're just turning kills into kills and buildings. And they've only lost 1 tier 1, the one in the bottom lane. The one in mid is fairly close, though. And what I'm waiting for from IG is for them to hit their stride, the perfect timing when the Chronosphere is off cooldown, when Shadow Shaman gets some good wards off, when Exorcism is level 2 and they get a good team fight, then I still think Mouse with a 5,000 lead can lose the fight, but if they play it well and we get more clutch plays like that with Nightmare, which is actually really huge in this game, I think Mouse could very well be looking into Game 3 right now.
Yeah, man, they're just going to hold the nerve. They're going to hold the momentum and not get caught out in a 5-man chrono. Yeah, doesn't really seem like that much to do.
Seeing a rotation here.
This
top tower is just gone. IG, they don't even want to.
They shouldn't. They really, really shouldn't. Because right now they can only fight fights when they really.
Whoa, okay.
I wasn't expecting this from Ferrari in this game, but I got a funny feeling that IG feel just so far behind at the moment that they need to catch up. When you look at it, it's 7.3k net worth compared to the 4.8k of Ferrari. They're actually really, really far behind on that money.
And it's another way for Death Prophet to get the levels for her ultimate, which is really important. IG did this in one of the games against DK as well.
Middle lane, they're going to fight. Fiend's Grip is keeping YYF out. The Ravage hits Chuan. He's going to shatter hit no matter what, as Fader actually threw the Viper Strike down. They got enough damage. There's another 2 kills coming in for the Germans. The mid-tower, Fortify is trying to protect it, and they're going to get the denial as well. They got it too. At the same time, Marana has just picked off the Death Prophet. Pycat got a solo kill on the other side of the lane. Very, very smart play coming out from mousesports, and with 3 euros down, a large amount of things also on the sidelines for IG, they can easily pick up the pit. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah, they're going immediately onto Roshan here.
Because what's IG going to do? Like, what can they do? They've all got to even run out there, and you've got no tier 1 towers on the map to actually TP out to. You have to TP smoke and basically put on extra face boots for everybody to reach there in time.
Yeah, Death Prophet's ult is not that strong on level 1. It's one of the abilities that's most level dependent. It gets so much better when you level it up. And,
this TP from Misery, he need to be closer. And where Luo's actually triggered his ultimate. I don't know if that's just a misclick or not, if he really thought he could turn around and try and fight up against that, but Aegis the Immortal goes the way of Pycat, and Misery is solo defending the tower with the AA ulti support.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, this is a big ulti to have down for a fight.
They've got a kill per minute in a 16-minute game. Like,
this is momentum mousesports, man.
So effective early game.
It's the Eminem style.
Now we just need the If Mouse keep their pressure up, Arrow is going to not connect.
Too late.
Onto Luo.
He was firing a blind though. mousesports had no vision whatsoever, but they tried to get there quickly. The fact the arrow also reveals itself also reveals the fact to IG the mousesports were coming top to try and battle them. So instantly you see Ferrari switches towards the bottom lane. He's got a level 2 exorcism, which is really big for him too. He needed that upgrade. He needed the upgrade on that ultimate of his, which means he can actually apply pressure towards the bottom lane.
I'm surprised he's not using it right now. I think he's trying to figure out whether Mouse want to defend this or not.
I think he's more
actually
worried about the top lane fight. I think that's his major concern right now, if he needs it for the engagement.
He thinks Mouse might have TP'd a couple of heroes back because they're hiding in the
Here
back,
it goes. Here it goes.
Here it does indeed go. We're going to see a time. Maybe Mouse want to go for the trade-off. Maybe they want to go for the fight. They want to go for the fight. There's the grip again.
He got him. The Void ulti, though, is going to cause a lot of problems here. MSS is caught. He's got no Ravage when he comes out. This fade and the Med Charge will go. They got the kill on the crop. The Lich only bouncing around. It's going to stick with the creep wave for now. As the fight splits up, YYF TPing out in the tree line. Misery, Nightmares up to keep Faith in position while Pycat, they're trying to go for more. It's Luo who's on the run. MSS, he's got Blink Dagger in 5. He needs to wait. Pycat will pick up the remaining kill a little bit further back, but they're searching for Luo in the trees. Where's your Ravage? There it is. Cancelling the TP. Misery's in there too. They're battling up against the lightning storm, but the creep wave is blocking Luo in as well. They get themselves 3 for the price of 1. Fade of the sacrificial lamb for mousesports. But they come out on top again. 20-4. 18 minutes in here to game number 2.
And watching this game makes me wonder because as they talked about in the desk in the pre-show, these teams have very experienced players and they've obviously done their research on the enemy team. So it makes me wonder if Mouse just willingly gave IG. They were like, we know IG will go for this. We give them all their heroes and we have a plan against it. You know, this Bane so far for me has been one of the best Bane performances I think I've ever seen from Misery. He hasn't made a single mistake. All of his Nightmares have been beautiful. 2 really crucial grips. Everything has been set up so nicely, and the whole team just follows through very well. It's beautiful to watch. This is a totally different mousesports than in game 1.
Yes, it's a mousesports that actually got the plays. That's the primary thing. Like, mousesports had exactly the same potential in game number 1. The major problem they had was it didn't keep happening. And this game, it does keep happening. It's high risk and high reward. Are they looking? It's Void. Pycat actually hit the arrow on this one, but he's already used his leap, so movement speed to keep up with YYF. Okay, phase boost trigger. He's going to try and keep up with him for now. Viper's
How
also
much do you want the kill, Pycat?
He doesn't want it that much, man.
Okay.
At the same time, we get ourselves another kill. Misery in the bottom lane taking out the Crobulus. So MSS teaming up with him. And again, another kill. The Roshan timer he hasn't even been dead. Like, he's been dead for just over 3 minutes now. And mousesports are still finding kills, still adding pressure towards tier 2 towers. Breaching high ground is going to be the next major question we'll have to ask. How does mousesports do it up against the IG lineup? I know it's only level 1 mouse up mods, but you got Void Chrono, Exorcism level 2, you have a Lich Ultimate, which is also going to cause you a lot of havoc, and then you got Razor as well. Oh, Pycat! Into the trees, away to safety, away from the plasma field, moving very quickly.
Good leap.
If he was just just an inch further back, he would never have made that jump.
Yeah, and if he dies once there, he dies twice. He's completely outnumbered and his team is far away, so...
Yeah.
Really nice here from Pycat to get out of trouble and secure himself a rune now as well. And the one thing Mouse cannot afford to do right now is go for a brute force fight at the tower where they get themselves in a bad position. That's the only way they can actually lose this game at this point, I think.
A brute force fight with a good position that would work wonders for
him. Yeah, that
could
work fine. They're so far ahead right now, and it's not like their lineup is bad at teamfighting as it is. The weakness IG's lineup has is if it's behind and you also have good teamfight on your team, you're probably going to overtake them with like 14,000 experience and 10,000 gold. That's a little bit of a bonus. But yeah, this is we're gonna see if as Pycat he actually sees Faith here because of his ward, so he knows exactly what's coming his way.
He had to go for a prediction one though. The AOD was also coming in, but the last point of vision he had was here, so he had to predict how quickly the Lich was moving down, which is rather difficult when you've also got like Tranquil Boots on the Lich. He's moving very quick. And Pycat, again, how do you get this close all the time? He's going to find Luo in the corner. Misery, the arrow flies out. Doesn't get to YYF, but a Fiend Script's going to go. YYF, he's trying to break free at the moment with a Starfall. There's no backtrack for him. The damage is enough. Again, a Chilling Touch bonus damage into Pycat. This guy doesn't even need a damage dealing item when he has an Ancient Apparition behind him.
And come to think of it, this is one thing
and now he actually has it. It's a Maelstrom.
This is one thing that IG hasn't had to play up against with that kind of lineup, is that the games they played against DK, in one of the games they just really figured out the movement. I think Mouse's movement in this game has been very unpredictable, and they've been doing a great job at finding these important kills early on. And IG, I don't think, are used to playing this lineup where they're behind. You see them keep getting caught out because they're like, well, what do? We drafted to be dominating in this stage and we can't really find anything. They're not even getting tower trades anymore with their pushing lineup, so Mouse at this point just completely in control, and we're going to see this mid-tier 2 tower go down soon, I think, but they're showing some discipline here, not overextending. They know the Void is back, and they have grip on cooldown, so... As Chuan is actually trying to go. Is he actually going to go for this? No way. Okay, he just wants the tower. He doesn't get it, though.
No, Misery's able to get the denial on Chuan. Where's the stun? Nightmare.
He's going to die, too.
It stops him on the way out, and now they're in a lot of trouble. Arrow's going to connect, and he's fighting underneath the mass circles, but they don't care. mousesports grab themselves another kill, 23-4, and also they're mopping up the goal. They deny the goal, and then they take the goal from the mass serpent. Chuan, I think for the first time, maybe IG is going to lose with a Shadow Shaman if this game keeps going this way.
Yeah, that's true. They were 15-0 with that hero, but I guess every streak will come to an end at some point, but this is not how I would have imagined it. I would have imagined if Mouse were controlling IG and doing very well in the game, I had never imagined it being this one-sided.
It's coming in. YYF, he's just inch far enough away. With the Blink Dagger still on cooldown from the Titan, he couldn't go. Misery! He blinked in looking for the Fiend's grip on YYF. It's a fraction of a second too close, and now they're also going to Moonlight Shadow. That Blink Dagger is off cooldown for the Tide. Pycat actually gives them movement speed leaping in as the Lich TP's out in the top lane. They're not going to catch up to Invictus Gaming. They're too quickly away.
I think he might get Luo here if he... No. I think Pycat, he actually, or Misery there, might have had the chance to Nightmare or grip the Void. He was next to him for a little bit, but he might have been surprised by Void's positioning or just a little bit too slow on the button there. So maybe they missed out on one kill, but I think Misery can live with the fact that he made one misplay in this game so far. That's he's gonna be like, I didn't have the flawless game.
I just want to point out another thing too is mousesports are preparing to attack the tier 2 tower in the top lane. Void Chrono may be off cooldown, but Krob has already used his ult, and now Void actually goes for pass, throws it out, they're looking for the solo kill. Look how long it's just taking him to take down Ancient Apparition. Like that, just giving a full Chrono, as well as having Plasma Field and Ether Shock being used, and the entire time of the Chrono was just to beat down the AA. This just shows you how little damage YYF is doing. It's got Mask of Madness to help him with the issue, but he has to wait till he has a Maelstrom or something. Now, in comes MSS. A straight-up Gush looking for an opening, and Misery again. The Fiend's grip on a YYF. Pycat ensuring the stun. YYF will go down while Ferrari, he's trying to force the issue on the bottom lane, but the top tier 2 tower also took a fall. And mousesports get a 1-1 trade. Void for the Ancient Apparition.
Another big win for them. The question is when they're going to try to go for the high ground. Of course, as I said, the one way they can actually lose this game is if they try to group up, go for the high ground siege, and they get caught in a big chrono that hits like 2, 3, or 4 targets. I actually think 2 won't be enough. But if they get a little bit out of position, they could be in danger because IG do have the damage. But you're absolutely right. It's not the Void doing the damage. It's gonna come from the other heroes, especially Ferrari when he reaches level 16. Yeah, he does have a Yule Scepter and an Ogre Club. It's pretty amazing how farmed he actually is for having 6 deaths.
He's waiting. MSS was hoping that the 4-star would get him in range. And then you talk about bad positioning that could happen for mousesports. They're actually running at this point 2 4-stars and 2 Blink Daggers on Misery as well as MSS. The chance of them being in a bad position is low. And of course you've got Pycat. High movement speed with the leap once he's able to hit the deck, but he's also got the repositioner of that. And Viper, he doesn't care. He's got Aghadim's mech as well as 4 points up in Corrosive Skin. And Tidehunter, this guy takes literally no damage.
So he's immortal. You can't kill him.
Yes, he could be an item for TI4.
Wow, that's really good. That sounds like a first pick to me. But yeah, the one actually we should mention about Tide, of course, the Kraken Shell is going to be really important in general. Whenever you play Tide, it's one of the very powerful aspects of the hero, but you can Kraken almost everything in the game. Any sort of stun, silence, etc., but you cannot Kraken Chronosphere. If you're in that, you're actually stuck. So the worst thing that can happen to Mouse is that they want to blink initiate with MSS at the same time as the Chrono gets thrown out and he gets caught in that, and then maybe IG can take a fight that can win it for them, but I think we're looking at that kind of a team fight for them to have an advantage at this point. But the graphs are still flat, and I think that's pretty admirable here for IG, considering how far they're behind. They're actually not losing much more over the last 5 minutes.
They're actually getting some really good intel. I don't know if you actually spotted this wall that's up inside the dire side jungle, but it actually spotted out the Moonlight Shadow being used, and it's watching also the courier moving out and back all the time. So they're watching very closely. They would have seen the full Mjolnir is now completed up for Mirana as well. All these different things are getting flagged for Invictus Gaming, so they know what they're up against at least, so they can make good decisions coming into this mid game. And they're going to have to make some really bloody good decisions if they're going to win this.
Have a look at this coverage from Mouse right now. They know exactly what IG are doing, and that's why they're also confident in what they're doing themselves. There's no way for IG to really get there unnoticed at this point, because if they want to smoke, they're smoking under a ward, and then it would be really easy for Mouse to figure it out. So this one is more than likely going to go their way. I think IG might know what's going on. They just can't deal with it.
IG won't deal with this, because if they lose a fight around Roshan, like a one-time Ravage could completely screw them up. And they won't get their chrono, they won't get their combo off. I'm pretty sure the only thing that's going through the minds of Invictus Gaming right now is, let's grab them when they push high ground underneath our tier 3 tower. Try and find as much farm as possible, but we battle on our terms. We don't go across a river into an area we have no vision of whatsoever. They need to fight with a good amount of intelligence coming in. And now actually Lich did the best thing he could have done too. Actually sacrifice finishing the mech for this, so we could purchase the gem, and now they're going to be able to de-ward out a lot of this vision of mousesports that you were flagging before.
This is actually something that I think I have never seen before. This prioritization from Faith.
It's alright. Jacob had a problem with the word before as well.
Yeah, that kind of didn't work out. But yeah, I love this prioritizing from Faith here of getting the gem. Not because the mech wouldn't be useful, it would definitely be useful, but
solo kill?
The choice to get the gem here is actually really good. Even though, 9 out of 10 players, or maybe 99 out of 100 would finish the mech. We're like, yes, finally I have my mech. He's like, yes, finally I have 900 gold. What is the highest 900 gold impact item I can buy right now? And in most cases I wouldn't agree with this, but I think it's really, really smart here.
Yeah. Problem is though, he hasn't found the wards. He found. He's got to venture out further. This ward's only got like 15 seconds left on it, which is even more hilarious. Bottom lane, there's a lot of movement coming down here. Razor was on his way. But Ferrari's going to be the main man showing himself out there. Ferrari's actually almost completed his own BKB. He's 200 gold away from it, and now taking out that bottom wave, he's basically 50 gold away. The arrow's on the way. He's already got Viper Strike. They're going to commit. Gush, Anchor Smash, Pycat with a DD Rune. Yule Scepter will go up. The AOE is overthrown him, but then the Shatter Effect was still going over him. He did get hit by the Ice Blast itself, but he was 100% dead there. 54 seconds on the sideline for Ferrari. And as far as buyback goes, he actually has it. He bought up the Mithril Hammer, but he still has enough money where he can come back into this game.
The big thing for Mouse there was that they didn't use Ravage for the kill. They forced the buyback, they didn't use Ravage, and Pass with that Axe Scepter on AA and level 11, he's hit the perfect timing. This is probably the time in the game when AA is at its strongest, together with the very early
There's already the arrow on Ferrari, and in comes a Ravage! MSS, perfect, point blank on YYF. The Legend will bounce down, however, in mousesports. They've got to separate, they've got to split on this one, and they've actually lost the Aegis because of this. They're still in range of the tower. Stop getting hit by this Lich ulti. Either way, two of them are down, YYF is back to life again. Looking to try and fight. Chrono is still available for him. But Static Storm's on the cooldown. There's your jump up. They find Pass inside, but Misery, Fiend's gripping out from outside, but Chuan blinks down, gets the shackles. Misery needs to shock him down, but MSS comes to the support of his teammate. Oh, this is troublesome. Pycat, nothing else apart from a brain sap from Misery, able to get another kill. It's a 7-1-12 Bane in this matchup. 29 for 6. The Mass Serpent wants to make this a little bit harder as well as fortification. So mousesports have to take care of the creep wave as well as the wards first. But they've also even the top lanes pushing into the tier 3 tower at the moment. And boy, Chrono! He got Pycat as well as Vader, but the Nightmare! Misery was looking to save him, and the Force starts actually push him back when he turns around.
That looked cool. He got stuck in the midair. It's nice. Arrow again. Pycat's arrows this game have been amazing as well, by the way. It's not only been Nightmare setups into arrows, which are, of course, very easy. He's been hitting a lot on his own there. I think the arrow
MSS, he's in again. With that Viper ulti, YYF's trying to slow him down, but Razor is just sticking out at the moment. He had the ulti coming out from Fader as well as the poison. They throw the Mjolnir effect over towards Fader so he can TP out to safely attack him. They're going to do actually Yule Scepter from Ferrari. Use defensive, they just leave him for death. They know he's dead, he throws the ulti up. Even Chuan was able to evade it with his Blink Dagger as he's trying to chase down to find anyone else from mousesports that's still here. And YYF, even Masked Menacing, walking himself up, trying to find some kind of opening on mousesports, but nothing is presenting itself.
This is just the AAA game of mousesports right here. It's so high class, everything they've been doing this game. As I was trying to say before, Mirana's arrows have been hitting some really crucial ones. I believe the second time Ferrari died, so he bought back to try to defend there, and I think he got hit by an arrow in the middle of the base from Pycat, and that's when they followed up with the Ravage. So really great decision making as well. We've got a Nightmare bottom. Gonna get Ferrari one more time. Oh, they will. There's gonna be an arrow soon, I think. There it comes.
It came from the skies. And Pycat He helps it up for yet another kill coming in for this Bane. It's really scary though when you look at the KDRs just for Misery as well as PyCat together. 9-1-12, 8-1-13. They're getting involved in almost every single kill possible and taking so many of them together. And then you're still getting a lot of farming for Viper. The Tidehunter is the only hero right now on the map, which actually hasn't died yet. While MSS, because of this, he's got a lot of money up his sleeve, and that Refresher Orb is looking dangerously close here. He's recipe away from it, that's all.
Yeah, I think this is Rex, though, even without the... They don't need the Refresher. There's 25 seconds on Crop. They can't fight without the Death Prophet. There's just
true.
no way. And they know she doesn't have buyback because they forced it before.
They could try Chrono Lich ulti with the Mass Serpent Wars. That may be enough to keep him at bay.
They
And
might
why
actually... Oh.
The instinct closer. But he didn't go for a fully. Yep, the arrow's going to fly astray. So that's not available. They're just beating on the range drag slowly.
Yeah, Mauser are waiting for Fata. That's the right choice here as well. He was actually pretty far away. Don't commit into a 4-on-4. It could go wrong.
But Krob's up now. So the combo is available for Invictus Gaming. If they can fight
The
this...
ranged barracks are almost down, though. They're just leaving Pycat along the front. Here we go!
There's your Chrono. They're going to go for Pycat. MSS, though! So much space being created. Blinks itself over the Chrono. The lead will come up, and the battle is starting to split up. Pycat, man fighting up against the two cores. And this is almost GG. They're losing too many heroes. The Lich ulti is bouncing itself around. This time it will be split. The Yule Scepter up from Ferrari, but his ulti is gone. Every ulti, in fact, from Invictus Gaming was committed towards this fight. The bottom ranks will go down. The question is, how much damage can mousesports do now?
Might be able to get even a second lane. At least the tier 3 ping is coming out here from Mouse.
They'll look for another one.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Like, what's going to stop them? Even if the entirety of IG's lineup is back, they used all their important ultimates apart from Mass Serpent Wards, and Mouse still have Fiend Script and AA ultimate, and their mech will be off cooldown in 10 seconds. Misery actually tanking a lot
here. I don't know if that's on purpose, but shouldn't be.
But yeah, the tier 3 is gone. And I'm wondering why IG are actually staying in this game. I'm not sure what kind of hope they're holding onto at this point. They've just been completely rolled over and caught by surprise in this game, but... They're going to see if there's a last opening here.
He's looking for a kill on PyCat, but they force-staff him away. Now the Shackle's on Faye. They need him even further away. Another force-staff being used, but Ferrari getting slowed down with that Viper Strike. They were able to hold him out, but this range drags at 85 life points. And mousesports like, okay, IG fighters, again, Mass Serpent Wards go on cooldown. They just back themselves up. The next Roshan potential spawn times in a minute and a half. They're under no pressure.
They really are under no pressure, and Fatsa's going to have a heart and 500 gold. Let's look at the gold graph and experience. Okay, that's kind of
it's a slight advantage, we're definitely going to say, to the Germans.
I think a comeback from IG at this point. I don't remember the exact stat.
Jump bottom lane again, Misery. You think you have space to breathe. And mousesports, they wind you. The Void is down for 43 seconds. And this will be either just a safety Roshan security thing, but they got a potential 3 minutes after like this 45 seconds counts out now. They could just look to push top lane. That could be the next group, the next place to go.
Misery? Yeah, it's Blink Force. There's no way Ferrari
can't catch
him.
Dude, Misery's got almost 8k gold on this guy. He can buy inside the Vice shortly, if he wants to.
Yeah, that's true. I actually wonder what he wants at this point. It kind of seems like anything is luxury at that point. When you have Blink Force on Bane at 20 minutes, you're generally happy. I think he's still going to go for the BKB safe choice here.
We need Refresher on Fiend Script, obviously. Just to go with the
expensive. It's a 400 mana cost spell. Of course, you drain some mana with it too, so maybe you can actually get it off, but I don't think it's going to be his choice. I think he's going to be looking at something else. Maybe the BKB would be a choice still. He's going to get Necro 3. Okay, let's go end the game.
that works as well.
And the reason BKB isn't that good is that Chrono, of course, stops his grip, so does Chain Frost cast, so...
Oh, can you imagine what it's now going to be like for Void? Like, if he gets mana burn before the fight even begins, from a level 3 book, actually, how much would you have left over after that? Would you have enough for both Elite and Chrono?
If he gets burnt once with the active mana burn, and not the passive one, the active mana burn from the Necro book will allow him to cast Time Walk only. He can't even Chrono after it.
Maybe it's a good thing he's holding on to those 9 stick charges of his. But that's basically it. We still don't see the Maelstrom from him at all. The range rank has gone in middle lane, and Fader, he's just throwing her out harassed Nolmans. And this is not a great thing for Ferrari. That's 20 seconds without a Yule Scepter. So that's 20 seconds where he can't just like have his immunity when he throws out his Exorcism. And they're beating out this mid-rack. The Necro units are out. They might be dusted up. And looking at IG, they're coming in through the rear. They throw the Chrono. They're looking for the kill on MSS. And they're going to get it. There's no Ravage in this fight. Actually, Nightmare protects him. He's able to get the Ravage off. The BKB's gone off from Luo and Fiend Script. Misery gets silenced up by Ferrari, but the damage has already been done. The Lich only bounces only once. A second Ravage from MSS. The Germans have got this. GG!
We are going to a game 3 here in our first quarterfinal. Live here in Frankfurt, the ESL 1. mousesports should be happy. They held their momentum. IG made them work for it. They made them work very, very hard for this game.
What a phenomenal performance by both. Well, everyone on Mouse played a very, very good game, but standing out for me, Misery and PyCat. It's not their KDA, it's just how big of an impact you felt them having in the game. It actually, it really reflects very well this time around, the KDA, how much they also did relative to the entire game.
Death Prophet and Faceless Void, not a single kill, and they both had double digits on their death. This is how much the Death Prophet and Faceless Void were shut down. Either way, man, we're going to have ourselves, well, we'll have a breather, but we'll go to the guys over at the panel, see their thoughts here on game number 2.
Wow, where'd you come back from that? What a finish to game 2, Bruno.
I would applaud more if I could, but...
Yeah, because you'd...
What an amazing performance. I mean, we were talking before about tempo and how IG is good at that. And we were talking about how you have to stop them making decisions. That Tidehunter, that Bane, they couldn't do anything. Every time they tried to jump, they were jumped on first. The execution was amazing. Last Chronosphere, they were going to kill the Tidehunter. No, the slip from Misery just right there. Amazing play from mousesports.
Yeah, great stuff. Gents,
I mean, this is why I love Dota. What a standout performance by the entire squad, but Misery in particular. That Bane Elemental, he literally took down the Faceless Void on his own twice in this game with just his ultimate. He was just everywhere, and he was so aggressive. He was relentless. He just kept on going on them. Amazing performance by the entire team, and Misery in particular.
Yeah, I was going to say Misery stood out, but how do you sum that up?
It's just Bane, like Misery did more than awesome. Like that's one of the best performances on Bane this year, and maybe like one of the best ever. Like he was as good offensively that it was defensively. He saved the bottom from the Lich ultimate, then he saved that Tide Ravage. I mean, the game was almost won for Mouse already, but huge plays from Misery. He put so much pressure on IG that his teammates could just take towers, win fights. Their discipline when it came to defend their towers, with this, they backed up every tower and got kills and relentlessly.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we were watching the game together and discussing at the start, and we were like, oh, okay, first blood again, great, all right, that looks all right, and then 2 or 3 kills strung together, and it kind of had a similar feeling to the first game. I mean, you were even concerned, weren't you? You were like, still not convinced too much. But then, as the game went through the mid-game, Jacob, it just seemed like everything went Mouse's way.
The snowball effect kicked in. It didn't in game 1 because IG had the means to counteract with them. They didn't in this game. They were relying on the Chronosphere, but they didn't have the burst damage to put into it. It was...
They just got shut down in the lanes.
Yeah, it was a great performance by mousesports again, but also a clear statement. Oh, you want to play like you do in China? We'll have nothing of it. We play our style, and you cannot go with that Faceless Void strategy when you're in Germany.
Yeah,
their home turf.
Ben, how important was the first blood this time round? Because it was different this time round.
It was a lot different because it was in between the T1 and the T2, and they couldn't even approach the T1 very safely, and they just continuously died and died and died. And the Faceless Void tried to actually protect one of the supports by taking the arrows, and he ended up dying too. And it was just a disaster. And yeah, normally you'd be like, okay, well, we gave a few kills, we'll group up as 5, we'll have nice Chronospheres and other ultimates. But by that time, Tidehunter had Blink, and they just could not fight into that.
How impressed are you, Bruno?
Very impressed so far. I mean, there's still some cards under IG sleeves that we haven't seen yet. There's the Invoker from Ferrari, which is amazing. There's the Nature's Prophet that can come out of nowhere. They haven't used them so far, but they were comfortable. This is not, oh, IG tried something weird. IG felt comfortable about this, and they lost when they were feeling comfortable.
I was going to ask you, actually, do you think they did play something weird, Jacob?
No, this was definitely a comfortable lineup for them. It was a bit cliche. Kind of like it was all in on the synergy with the Chronosphere, and I think they got so greedy that they felt like they didn't need that lane control that is so important against a team like mousesports.
I mean, we've seen it a number of times recently where a team wins the opening game very straightforwardly, very easily. They kind of get overconfident a little bit and then maybe pick slightly. Do you think that happened?
No, I don't think that's the case here. I think IG genuinely felt they had the upper hand in terms of strategy, but I think they also really underestimated just how much mousesports can actually snowball with the lineup that they have and their play style.
They can definitely snow sport, that's for sure, in Germany. We know all about that. We're going to take a very quick break, and when we come back, we will have map number 3. It's 1-1, and the crowd here are absolutely loving it. We'll see you in a tick.